Shalom, welcome to Tactically Torah. I am Heath Hayes. Today is day 59 of Read the Bible in a Year, and we are reading Deuteronomy, chapters 3 and 4. We're on page 188, roughly, in the scriptures, depending on which version you have. I have the big letter version, so that means we're on page 188. But anyways, now you can follow along in the scriptures. Deuteronomy, chapter 3. Let's do it. Then we turned and went up the way to Bashan. And Og, sovereign of Bashan, came out against us, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. Okay. And Yahweh said to me, do not fear him, for I have given him and all his people and his land into your hand. And you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon. So Yahweh your Elohim also gave into our hands Og, sovereign of Bashan, with his people, and we struck him until he had no survivors remaining. And we captured all his cities at that time. There was not a city which we had not taken from them. 60 cities. All the district of Argob, the reign of Og in Bashan. All these cities were fenced with high walls, gates and bars, besides a great many unwalled towns. And we put them under the ban, as we did to Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, putting the men, the women, and the children of every city under the ban. But all the livestock and the spoil of the cities we took as booty for ourselves. And at that time we took the land from the hand of the two sovereigns of the Amorites that was beyond the Jordan. But the Wadi Arnon, from the Wadi Arnon to Mount Hermon. Sidonians call it Hermon. Sirion and the Amorites call it Sinir. So that's a little specificity there. All the cities of the plain, all Gilad, and all Bashan, as far as Salcah and Edrei, cities of the reign of Og in Bashan. For only Og, sovereign of Bashan, was left of the remnant of the Rephaites. See, his bedstead was an iron bedstead. Is it not in Rabbah of the children of Ammon, 9 cubits in its length, and 4 cubits its width, according to the cubit of a man? So a cubit, just for your edification, is roughly 18 inches. So the distance from here, from your elbow to the tips of your fingers, right? That's approximate. So, dude was a big dude. Verse 12. And this land which we possessed at that time from Aroer, which is by the Wadi Arnon, and half the mountains of Gilad, and its cities I gave to the Reubenites and the Gadites, and the rest of Gilad and all Bashan, reign of Og, I gave to half the tribe of Manasseh. All the district of Argob with Bashan, called the land of the Rephaites. Yair, son of Manasseh, had taken all the district of Argob, as far as the border of the Geshurites and the Maacathites, and called them after his own name, the Bashan of Hawoth Yair, to this day. And Machir I gave Gilad, and to the Reubenites, I guess, and the Gadites I gave from Gilad, as far as the Wadi Arnon, the middle of the Wadi as the border, as far as the Wadi Yabok, the border of the children of Ammon. And the desert plain with the Yarden as the border from Kinnereth, as far as the Sea of Arabah, the salt sea, below the slopes of Pisgah on the east. And I commanded you at that time, saying, Yahweh your Elohim has given you this land to possess. All you sons of might, pass over armed before your brothers, the children of Israel, but let your wives and your little ones and your livestock, I know that you have much livestock, stay in your cities, which I have given you, until Yahweh has given rest to your brothers as to you. And they also possess the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving them beyond the Yarden. Then you shall return each man to his possession, which I have given you. And I commanded Yehoshua at that time, saying, your eyes have seen all that Yahweh your Elohim has done to these two sovereigns. Yahweh does the same to all the reigns which you are passing over. Do not fear them, for Yahweh your Elohim himself fights for you. And I pleaded with Yahweh at that time, saying, O Master Yahweh, you have begun to show your servant your greatness and your strong hand. For who is a mighty one in the heavens or on the earth who does according to your works and according to your might? I pray, let me pass over and see the good land beyond the Yarden, this good hill country and Lebanon. But Yahweh was enraged with me for your sake, and would not listen to me. And Yahweh said to me, enough of that. Speak no more to me about this matter. Go up to the top of Pisgah, and lift up your eyes westward and northward and southward and eastward, and look with your eyes, for you do not pass over this Yarden. But commanded Yehoshua and strengthen him. But command Yehoshua and strengthen him and make him brave, for he shall pass over before this people and cause them to inherit the land which you see. And we dwelt in the valley opposite Beth Peor. Chapter 4. And now, O Israel, listen to the laws and the right rulings which I am teaching you to do, so that you live and shall go in and possess the land which Yahweh Elohim of your fathers is giving you. Do not add to the word which I command you, and do not take away from it, so as to guard the commands of Yahweh your Elohim which I am commanding you. Your eyes have seen what Yahweh did at Baal Peor. For Yahweh your Elohim has destroyed from your midst all the men who followed Baal Peor. But you who are clinging to Yahweh your Elohim are alive today, every one of you. See, I have taught you your laws and right rulings, as Yahweh my Elohim commanded me to do thus in the land which you go to possess. And you shall guard to do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding before the eyes of the peoples who hear all these laws. And they shall say, only a wise and understanding people is this great nation. For what great nation is there which has Elohim so near to it, as Yahweh our Elohim is to us whenever we call on him? And what great nation is there that has such laws and righteous right rulings like all this Torah which I set before you this day? Only guard yourself and guard your life diligently, lest you forget the words your eyes have seen, and lest they turn aside from your heart all the days of your life. And you shall make them known to your children and to your grandchildren. The day when you stood before Yahweh your Elohim in Horeb, Yahweh said to me, assemble the people to me, and I make them hear my words, so that they learn to fear me all the days they live on the earth, and teach them to their children. And you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of the heavens. Darkness, cloud and thick darkness. Real quick, that's really cool. Psalm 97 says, "The Lord reigns, let the earth be glad, let the distant shores rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround him." Super cool. So you have another witness. Verse 11, and you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of the heavens. Darkness, cloud, and thick darkness. And Yahweh spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard a voice of words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice, and he made known to you his covenant which he commanded you to do. The 10 words, and he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And Yahweh commanded me at that time to teach you laws and right rulings for you to do them in the land which you pass over to possess. Therefore, diligently guard yourselves, for you saw no form when Yahweh spoke to you at Horeb, out of the midst of the fire, lest you should do corruptly and shall make for yourselves a carved image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the heavens, the likeness of any creature that creeps on the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water under the earth, lest you lift up your eyes to the heavens and shall see the sun and the moon and the stars, all the host of the heavens, and you be drawn away into bowing down to them and serving them, which Yahweh your Elohim has allotted to all the peoples under the heavens. But Yahweh has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of the Mitzrayim, to be his people, an inheritance as it is today. And Yahweh was enraged with me because of your words, and swore that I would not pass over the Jordan, and that I would not enter into the good land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance. For I am to die in this land. I am not passing over the Jordan, but you are passing over, and shall possess that good land. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, which he made with you, and shall make for yourselves a carven image in any form, as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you. So he's saying, don't do that. No graven images. When he's shown himself in the mountain, he's shown himself without figure, without form. Therefore, make no form in the likeness of the Father. All right. Verse 24. For Yahweh your Elohim is a consuming fire, a jealous El. When you bring forth children and grandchildren, you shall grow old in the land, and shall do corruptly, and make a carved image in the form of whatever, and shall do what is evil in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim to provoke him. I shall call the heavens and the earth to witness against you on that day, that you soon completely perish from the land which you pass over the Jordan to possess. You do not prolong your days in it, but are completely destroyed. And Yahweh shall scatter you among the peoples, and you shall be left few in number among the nations where Yahweh drives you. And there you shall serve mighty ones in the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But from there you shall seek Yahweh your Elohim, and shall find, when you search for him with all your heart and with all your being. In your distress, when all these words shall come upon you in the latter days, then you shall return to Yahweh your Elohim, and shall obey his voice. For Yahweh your Elohim is a compassionate El. He does not forsake you, nor destroy you, nor forget the covenant of your fathers which he swore to them. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before you since the day that Elohim created man on the earth, and ask from one end of the heavens to the other end of the heavens, whether there has been a word as great as this, or has been heard like it. Has a people heard the voice of Elohim speaking out in the midst of the fire as you have heard and live? Or has Elohim tried to go and take for himself a nation from the midst of a nation by trials and by signs and by wonders and by battle and by strong hand and an outstretched arm and by great fearsome deeds according to all that Yahweh your Elohim did for you in Mitzrayim before your eyes? You have been shown it. To know that Yahweh himself is Elohim, there is no one beside him. From the heavens he let you hear his voice to instruct you. And on the earth he showed you his great fire, and you heard his word out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought you out of Mitzrayim with his presence, with his great power, to drive out from before you nations greater and stronger than you, to bring you in, to give you their land as an inheritance as it is today. And you shall know today and shall recall to your heart that Yahweh himself is Elohim. In the heavens above and on the earth beneath there is no one else. And you shall guard his laws and his commands which I command you today, so that it is well with you and with your children after you, and so that you prolong your days on the soil which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you for all time. Then Moshe separated 3 cities beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun, for a manslayer to flee there. He who unknowingly murdered his neighbor without having hated him in time past, and might flee to one of these cities and live. Bethser in the wilderness, in the level land for the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead for the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan for the Menashites. And this is the Torah which Moshe set before the children of Israel. These are the witnesses and the laws and the right rulings which Moshe spoke to the children of Israel after they came out of Mitzrayim beyond the Jordan, in the valley opposite Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moshe and the children of Israel had stricken after they came out of Mitzrayim, and they took possession of his land and the land of Og, sovereign of Bashan, 2 sovereigns of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun from Aroer, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, even to Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and all the desert plain beyond the Jordan as far as the sea of Arabah, below the slopes of Pisgah. All right, guys, that's it. That's chapters 3 and 4 of Deuteronomy, and tomorrow we hit chapter 5, and I believe 6 as well. Anyways, shalom.